So you should become self-realized and get this benefit for yourself, and then also help others. So if every person that hears me speaking about this becomes self-realized, and they go out and they help 10 more. Huh? What did you say? There were 12 people signed up? Huh? So if all 12 of you actually put this into action, and then you go speak to 12 other people, and they speak to 12 other people, well, just imagine how pretty soon the whole world would be a much different place, a much better place. So this is our aim. This is why we go to so much trouble, to share this knowledge. This is not because we're trying to build some empire. No, we have nothing to do with this material world. We're just waiting to get out of here. Huh? You know? It's just like in the jail, in the prison, they have what's called a release unit. That when a person is about to be released from jail, they put them in the release unit. And it's like a trustee unit, and they have a lot more privileges than the other prisoners and like that, because they're shortly going to be released. So they have an extra motivation not to break any of the rules and like that. And this is like a kind of a transitionary phase to getting out. But the same thing is true when someone is self-realized, when someone attains Krishna consciousness, direct realization of Krishna. It's like they already have one foot out of this material world. The consciousness that I have since that Krishna revealed himself is like dual consciousness. Consciousness of the spiritual world on the inside and the material world on the outside. And I feel like I'm a resident of the spiritual world. That's where I live. And I'm just a visitor here. And I'm only here for a short time, and then I'm going to go back home. So I don't have any stake in this material world. You know, if the whole thing were to blow up tomorrow, you know, it's no problem for me, because I already know that other world. I'm already there. So to me, it doesn't matter whether you accept this knowledge or not. But to you, it should make a huge difference. And you should be very motivated to realize this knowledge for yourself and get the benefit, because you're the one who is going to enjoy the result. Any more questions? Oh, too bad. I guess we were talking about such confidential things that the internet couldn't stand it.
Yeah, the broadcast failed for about 5 minutes or 10.
Oh, yeah, that's enough to get rid of everybody.
And then, yeah, they went away.
Oops.
It's mentioned with the different relationships that Krishna has with the gopis. Sometimes he's fighting with them, sometimes he's making up, sometimes he's planning to find them. It's mentioned in the Nectar devotion that it's like claws of a parrot. Is that mentioned in one of the...
Scratching them.
Oh, as in fighting like claws of a parrot?
No. Oh, jeez.
Or are they...
See, this is one of those cultural things that in Vedic erotic arts, the different kinds of scratching are used in foreplay.
Okay.
This is a great art, considered to be a very great art. See, we have this very, very narrow view in the West of the erotic arts. Very narrow, very restricted. Very, yeah. Yeah, what things that we would think of as kinky or strange or out there are just like, you know, part of it. Any taste or any quality that we see in this material world originates in Krishna. You see? So anything that we think is, you know, far out and wild and new in this material world is old hat to Krishna. Krishna contains all those qualities and many, many, many more that we can't even imagine. So, just for example, look at the development of music in Krishna's pastimes. We were reading in, there's one scripture, it's in the Veda base. Right now I just can't recall the name of it, but anyway, there's a beautiful description of all the different instruments. Remember I posted it on the music discussion on the, oh, you didn't read it. Oh well. You can't remember either, huh? Anyway, on the music group on our community site, I posted this nice extract from one of the scriptures of Lord Chaitanya's associates. He describes how all the gopis are playing different instruments. And he mentions, he must mention 40 different instruments. And how they're playing all these different talas and ragas, and how they're dancing all these different steps. Their ankle bells are jingling in time with the music, and they're all so beautifully dressed, and they're all so capable and talented, and they're all so intelligent, and all this is done in the mood of the highest loving ecstasy. So this is this is the spiritual world, and anything that we experience in this material world is derived from that. But of course, in the material world, it's all displayed as a perverted reflection. Because people are trying to achieve their own pleasure instead of serving Krishna and trying to give pleasure to him. So the same pastimes that are present in the spiritual world, in their pure and perfect manifestation of highest ecstasy, in this material world become causes of degradation and disease and expressions of lust, and lead to all kinds of negative consequences for the people involved and all like that. You see, but it's not the fault of the activities themselves or the qualities themselves. It's the fact that they are in the material world are trying to enjoy themselves. They're trying to act for their own pleasure, their own service, selfishly, out of material lust. And because of that, anything you do in that mood is going to generate some negative karmic result. It doesn't matter. Even if you do something that's apparently beneficial, like start a charity for feeding people. But if you start it out of material lust for money, we've seen there are charities like this. They spend 95% of the money they collect on the salaries for the executives and 5% on actually feeding people. And this is perfectly legal, of course, because the legal system supports this kind of lusty material profit-making activity. And they still get to keep their non-profit status and everything like this. So just see. In this material world, everything becomes perverted because it's done for selfish reasons. But in the spiritual world, everything that is done for Krishna's pleasure by pure devotees. See? So even if it's so-called, kinky or wild or, outside of our normal limits, then it can be done in beautiful Krishna consciousness. Then it becomes art, it becomes love, because it's done for Krishna's pleasure. This is a very, very deep, very subtle point for most people. Most people want to carry or I should say superimpose the earthly morality, earthly moral judgments and moral values on Krishna. See? But there are people in India, for example, who insist that Krishna has to marry Radharani, otherwise he's immoral. See? They're all hung up on this. Why is Krishna dancing with other men's wives in the middle of the night in the woods? This is immoral. It's a bad example. Well, what are you doing sticking your nose into confidential pastimes that you have no business getting involved in because you're not a pure devotee. See? Like people say, can you show me God? Where is God? Can you make me see God? And Prabhupada used to answer them, what is your qualification for seeing God? Do you have the ability to see God? Maybe I can show you, but can you see? See? If a person is blind and they say, show me the sun, you can show them, but they can't see. Similarly, people who are in material consciousness and who are very much entrapped and controlled by their mind, you can't see Krishna. Even if you can show them, they can't see. You see, so they're trying to impose their values and the rules and